All right, ladies and gents, well, we are back in Brisbane and the Cruiser is finally in the shed. This weekend, we're gonna try and get this motor in for the first time, get it all test fitted. We've got a bunch of parts, some fresh and sexy parts.
We're gonna showcase.
Right? We're gonna show you in a minute just exactly what we've got. And then yeah, the plan is for this weekend to get the motor, box, everything all test fitted and yeah, go from there.
I won't lie, we have already unboxed it all, but we will unbox it again for you guys.
So what we're starting to do at the moment is just remove stuff from the motor that we don't need. So DPF needs to come off because we need to remove the motor mount, which is tucked behind the DPF.
I don't know what that is. Like, there's nothing else connected to it, but even on the backside, there's nothing. It's just mounted. How the f? Why don't I just take this whole thing off? It's not even holding onto anything. Let's just do that. Let me cook.
How's your rum looking?
I don't know. Can you check?
There's one more sip left in it.
Wasn't even a sip, bro.
1 milli sip. I feel like there's going to be a lot of rum consumed to finish this project.
Yeah, now that we're not going to the pub. No pub around here.
The only pub around here is your fridge.
I'm being dead serious. It's completely useless to you.
Well, it's useless now.
Well, I couldn't get it off because of that.
Flashback to when we just snapped that skid pan off the bottom of the BMW.
How do we take those out?
Let's just break it. To be fair, there's a lot of crap on here that does need to come off anyways. Like, we have not touched the motor at all.
No, like this is like straight out of the BMW basically. Oh, we might take this bracket off.
Oh, come on.
Oh, well, it's either we get rid of that or this. This is easier.
So we think someone's modified it.
This like, is 100%.
There's
nothing in it.
Because we were looking at these welds and we were like, some of these bolts.
This is so. Look at the welds. They're absolute boogers.
We were looking at some of the bolts that were plugged into this.
And they're like bolts out of Bunnings. Like they're just galvanized like shit. There's nothing in it. I did wonder, some of the shit looked played with. That is so funny. No wonder it's sooted so hard.
Yeah. I was just saying to Cooper before we pulled it off, I was like, I feel like somebody might have touched this. And he was like,
no, they wouldn't go through that much effort just to like cut it and pull the DPF shit out and put it back together.
Looks like they did, eh?
It'd be like way easier and probably cheaper to just buy something DPF deleted.
Yeah. Tonight we're gonna wrap it up pretty shortly, but we figure we may as well put the TCU back in, the TCM. Because hopefully it's not gonna be too long of a job. I sent this off to Ash down in Fusion Fab in Victoria. He's done a remap on it and a little bit of a tune, so switching through the gears once this box is back in will be super responsive, which is awesome. I'm just wiping off, like there was some clumps of stuff on here, so I just figured I'd get that off. Just any of the old debris and shit through travel that it might have picked up. This will go.
What is it,
Pull out the video, bro. Pull out the video.
Okay.
He was gonna put oil in it and not change the seal, and I've told him he's changing the seal.
I'll change the seal, it's fine.
Because if you put that back on, I can 95% guarantee you it's gonna leak. But anyways.
Not up to that stage yet.
This is all mock-up. Everything we're doing in this part of
complete mock-up, like this gearbox is gonna have to come out and be redone like once or twice again. So we can put new seals on, everything. I'm just putting this in now because I can. I've got this valve body flipped upside down. Okay.
Do you need the video again?
Sake. Hold on. Dude, I just watched the video. I just watched the video on how to pull it apart and I forgot it. Alright. We're good.
We got it. We figured out the orientation.
It should just take a little bit of persuasion. Just a fraction of persuasion and it should pop back in.
You just persuade it, bro.
I persuaded it. And she's in, I think. TCU, TCM is in. We'll just...
Do you have to bolt that to this?
Yeah, so there are a few bolts. And if you did watch the previous episode, you would have seen me pull this apart. So yeah, a couple of bolts we've got to put back in. There's a specific pattern for it, so we'll refer back to my own last video and watch how to do that. But we'll connect up this plug. Hopefully there's not a positive and a negative side, because I'm just going to put it in. So when I turn the car on and it's not cycling through gears, we'll check back here because that's the issue. Sweet.
That's so much effort, bro.
All right, so we've just nipped up all these bolts. All right, so just off camera, we've nipped up all these bolts. So there's a specific order you got to put them in. As you can see, there's still a few bolt holes here that don't have bolts in them. if you refer to the last video that I made. It's not necessary to remove all the bolts to remove the TCM. All the correct bolts are in, they're all nipped up to 6 Newton meters. And now we're gonna chuck the valve body and TCM into the gearbox. So we'll video this because there is a little tactic that you need to do and be aware of. This little section here is your emergency neutral. Now, what happens in like the normal X5, there's a big cable that runs down to this. And then when you pull that cable from within the cab, it flicks it into neutral. This prong has to go into here and then you're all set. So it's a little bit finicky to get in. I'm about to crash out already.
We've been at this for a little bit. Not this bit specifically, but just like in general.
Yeah, it's just been a long night. I think we need 2 hands.
We'll be back.
I think it needs to go forward a fraction.
Yeah, let it off a little bit.
Yep.
Yep. So you see how that's in there? Yeah, perfect.
It's the next day. I've woken up in my mansion behind you if Cooper wants to turn around. That's a double swag, and I slept here last night because we're dedicated and we outwork anyone else in. Anyway, I slept here last night, I've woken up, and we're gonna get into some of the parts that we're gonna be putting into the 80 series. Some of them are gonna be applicable today, and some of them will come in the future. As you guys know, McKinnons Cruisers and Fab Industries have jumped on board with this build, and we're absolutely super grateful for that to happen. They deliver the best M57 conversion bits for 80 series, and like mainly patrols, but 80 series 105s. Anything, they do heaps of custom work, and yeah, these are some of their parts. This big dog right here, this is our transmission cross member. Now, this is what adapts the BMW 6HP 28X to our 80 series chassis. So it'll mount up to the factory chassis holes on the 80 series. Then you'll see a little bit later on how the transfer case adapter bolts to this. Moving on, we've got a couple fresh new engine mounts from Terrain Tamer. They're awesome, heaps of aftermarket parts, affordable price. These things are so quality. A couple other little bits here, we'll just touch on these. These are the weld-in chassis mounts. These are welded to the 80 series rails, and then our engine mount rubbers will go like that. And then the block engine mounts from the M57 will sit on top of that. Moving along here, I guess we'll just address the big shiny thing first because that's really exciting. This is our transfer case adapter from Fab. This is what adapts our 6HP 28X to our Toyota factory transfer case. So this thing is made from super high quality 6061 aluminium, CNC cut. Like the precision on this thing is absolutely beautiful. Get a close up on that. Use your zoom. So if you look at other transfer case adapters on the market, Fab by far has the best quality adapter. This is the other thing that I'm super stoked with. This is our wiring loom for the M57. So what I did is I sent my existing loom from the motor and the gearbox to Ash at Fab, and he's done this. Whipped up all the plugs, all the ports, all the doohickeys, I don't know nothing about wiring. We're gonna be sending this car once it's done to an auto electrician. So then if you look down here, we've got a couple other parts like EGR delete. Again, if you're an engineer, you did not hear that. We have our swirl flap delete kit, a couple fuel fittings and other little bits and bobs in there. And then in here is our retuned ECU. So hard cut limmy, and then just other little tweaks and stuff to make it a little bit more chirpy. Now, moving over to some things that aren't required sort of just yet, but will help for fitting the motor and fitting things and whatnot. This is our fuel pump. So we've gone with a Walbro 460. This is what Ash recommended. It's super capable, like 600 horsepower plus capable. We're gonna have no issues with getting fuel to the motor, which is great. And also in the future, when we upgrade stuff, our fuel pump's ready to go for it. And then I ducked down the road the other day to HD Auto because they're just around the corner. Picked up an intercooler and their 80 series intercooler bracket kit. This intercooler, pretty basic, 600 by 300 by 76 mil, capable of like 500 horsepower. So this will be fine for us. And yeah, those are all of our parts. We're gonna eat some brekkie because we're hungry. So for these M57s to work in your 80 series and patrols, there's a small bit of modification needed to the sump in order to make it fit and clear the front diff. From factory, you have a diff and an axle running through this housing, which is what drives the BMW X-Drive system. And essentially the X-Drive system is just a fancy way of saying like 4-wheel drive. In short term, we need to cut that off. We need to get rid of that. And it's pretty straightforward. You basically just need to make a cut across here, like all the way across here, connecting up to this tube, and then all the way from here going up. But obviously trying not to cut into the main sump itself. Are you scared to chop the sump?
Well, it's not my car. just like that.
Cool. All right. Well, time to just chop that thing up, hey? Well, we've gone to this extent of pulling the sump off. We may as well just rebuild the engine with thick rods and bigger pistons and everything like that.
Delete 20 grand out of your non-existent account. We've just given it a quick clean with a bit of brake cleaner and some rags just to get it off. We will, before this goes back on, we will brake clean the absolute crap out of it and make sure this thing is perfect, because the last thing you want in your motor is metal. Basically, as you guys can see, we have this section here that we have to cut off. The easiest way and the safest way to go about this is to just cut back from where you need to be. You know, cut 10 mil back if you need. You can always grind off more. You can't put it back on unless you're gonna have to weld it or whatever. As far as we're aware, the front here, you can pretty much almost go back to this. We're not, we're gonna leave some on just for structural integrity. But on the bottom, you wanna be careful because there are oil galleys underneath, which I'll show you here. As you guys can see here, there's oil galleys and stuff. So you don't wanna go much lower than kind of, I guess you'd say, this surface here. We're gonna take it slow, we're gonna take our time. That's the only way to really do it properly. We've had a look. There's definitely really clean ones, and then there's definitely done it in 5 minutes. We'll get stuck into it, eh?
Alrighty. Change of tools.
I'm sure BMW did not intend for this.
What? You're telling me they didn't want people chopping their sumps up? My whole foot is vibrating.
Got my hands, bro. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to just knock off the material because the grinder blade isn't big enough. Cut this bit out.
Yeah. $10 to grab that. We've left a lot more on than when we need to.
Yeah, I've left a lot on because I know for a fact that just looking at before, this is like the lowest point. All this I can take a lot more off. It's this section here. I'll show you quite quickly. You can see how much it dips in.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go a lot because as I can see, there's not a lot there. So I'm just going to clean that up. And then the rest, I can see I can take heaps off.
All right, so as you can see, we have the sump back on. It's all been notched out nicely, cleaned up heaps, got all the metal fragments out of it with some brake cleaner. This whole sump will have to come back off again anyways, because I need to replace the gasket. So we just nipped it up lightly. Gonna flip it back around, put the gearbox up to the back of it.
So as is required, we have engine mounts that we have to re-weld on, which we've been provided by McKinnons Cruisers, thankfully. But we've got to cut off these ones. I'm going to cut to the, off of it, basically, down these corners here. It'll come off. There'll be leftover metal on there. I'm gonna probably cut it again. Same deal over this side. We're gonna do one side at a time because I've got everything off here and I'm gonna move this. And then I'm gonna grab my flappy disc, grind it all probably smooth. Then I'm gonna hit it with some weld through primer. Yeah, we can basically tack these on when we're ready to, when we've got the motor in. And as long as you don't cut into your chassis, you take your time. Same deal. We're trying to do a really good job here. So you just gotta be careful to not eat into your chassis at all.
Alrighty, so it's the next day. We've gotten stuck into what needs to happen today, which is the exciting part, hey. So we've gone ahead and mounted up the gearbox to the motor and the transfer case to the gearbox. Now's the fun part of putting the new engine mounts on. So picked up these from Terrain Tamer. They're just a factory 80 series engine mount, which is fantastic because that means they'll be easy to replace if they have a crack or something.
80 series 105. You know, the more, I guess, factory you can make it when things go wrong, which engine mounts, you know, can't really go wrong. But if you've done a lot of Ks and you're in the middle of nowhere and your engine mounts just go, you can find them a lot easier than if you had to get something custom made.
So basically what needs to happen now is we're going to hoist this bad boy up and try and slide it into its position. And then we have these fish plates that sit on the chassis rails. And on top of these fish plates, we'll sit our new chassis engine mounts like that. They'll both need to be welded to the chassis and then the mount to the fish plate.
And just to clarify, when you're welding to a chassis, it needs to be done by someone qualified, which I am not, and neither is Matt. But we have a welder and we're just going to tack. You will need a qualified boilermaker or someone of that caliber to weld these out professionally. Otherwise, if I do it, I don't have the trade skills on piece of paper. So if an engineer comes and wants to sign off and he goes, who welded these? And I say it was me, no. But yeah, we can just tack them, get them where they need to sit, make sure everything clears. We'll cycle the car up and down. We've got the coils, shocks out, and it's just sort of resting on the tires / bump stops.
Yeah, let's have a look at this thing. Look at that. I reckon we should just slam the 80 series instead. Kind of looks better. Having
the car all the way down to kind of resting to where it would, as if though you did fully bottom out, is a good way to cross check and make sure that your motors, your sump's not going to hit your diff and stuff like that. So like we've got the car almost down to as far as it would go. Obviously a lot of the R&D and all that's already gone into this thanks to Billy McKinnon.
So sketchy, man. Like this engine crane. Yeah,
Follow me.
I gotta come sideways first.
Yep, do whatever you need to do.
Try and center it a bit more.
You're gonna need to
probably start dropping it down now.
Yeah, drop it a fair bit. Alright, let me put a jack on this. This is a very sexy thing to look at.
Yeah, I'm getting bricked right now. I can drop the front end of the motor down now.
Yeah, drop the front end down.
Righto, we can start with this.
There's a look.
Hey, let's just turn her on and get it going. It looks sexy.
You look sexy.
Alright. This is the most we've done of anything.
Yeah, this
of
is
putting a motor into a
crazy.
car.
It's good to see that we can actually get some done.
Not in yet, but you know.
Oh, yeah, but it's just resting.
This is just exciting.
Yeah, it's cool to put something back together. I reckon we're going to end up getting that cross member at the back bolted up because that will sit where it's going to sit. So that will take us a bit of fiddling around and that will basically get the rear situated. That means it'll situate it lengthways.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Forward and back.
Yeah, and then we just need to basically center it. I mean, realistically, it should all just fall together, but you never know.
Realistically. So at the moment, we're just trying to set up this welder so we can weld the chassis mounts on. And Cooper is very experienced with welding. He just said to me, how do I turn the gas on?
I just wanna give you something to believe in. Believe in.
As you can see, we've pulled the motor back out because we have measured up our engine mounts and here they are here. Well, these are our fish plates. We've measured them, marked them on the sides, and now we're going to tack them into place.
We had it all in there. The engine mounts are on the motor. We had it basically fully resting in the engine bay, no weight taken by the engine crane. And we had the engine mounts basically sitting exactly where we want them. The fish plates I got perfect where I want them. I've marked them. And then the engine mounts as well, I got basically where I want them within, you know, forward and back. And they're only tacking. So if it's not right, I can always bring it back out, cut it, put it somewhere else. Like, that's the advantage of just being able to tack.
Yeah, we were pretty happy with the engine position in the engine bay. There was plenty of clearance on the firewall, plenty of clearance up front as well. And I was speaking to Billy and he said that the cross member that we're using for the transmission is a new style of cross member that is just released, which actually tries to center the engine within the bay a lot more. So the original cross member that Billy used to sell had it really hard up against the firewall and created some clearance issues. But now he's got a new product which brings it just off the firewall, has nice clearance in the back and also nice clearance in the front.
We'll showcase the clearance. Like with the motor in the car, there's so much room to work on it.
You can actually get to things like your starter motor, and with these M57s, the alternator is right up the top, so it's all super accessible. Flick them off.
Whoa! I'm nervous, bro.
You're nervous?
Stop lying.
Chassis.
I wonder if there's a better spot for my ground. It just doesn't feel like the ground's good. Because I did test piece and all that, and it worked really well. That was heaps better. Why is it so sensitive? What is setting this thing off? Then like not even penetrating that. What the f? That was so weird. I've had a little snack break. We have tacked the engine mounts in. They're not pretty. Again, I'm not a welder. I just have a welder. So teaching myself how to use it. All tacked in. Matt's done a quick jump test on them and they haven't moved. And you know, this is only going to rest in there. It's not like we're driving the car around. We're about ready to throw this thing in and pray to bloody God that it lines up.
This is probably the most nerve-wracking part of the whole build.
Like I've gone from just installing parts, just normal stuff like suspension and that, to completely out of my depth.
Yeah, this is out of both of our depth, but we're making it happen. We're learning.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say? Any what?
Any faster?
How's that looking?
Not bad. Alright, need to...
Gonna jump underneath?
Do you want to go underneath?
That's your job. That's the weasel's job.
What do you mean, bro? You were under there before.
That's the weasel's job. Oh, that's why you need a little... No, I shouldn't say little.
Get the f
Okay,
there.
fine. Far out. Bro, this is why my back is in pain. Yeah.
Lift it.
Sake, it's too heavy. You can keep coming back a little bit, I think. Yeah, slow.
It's going to come back as I drop it.
This... Oh, man.
It's going to crash out.
Bro, this is the worst jack in existence. Oh my god, I know I just got a face full of f***ing gearbox.
Well, I didn't have to touch it and it moved, so I will not do that again.
Something's getting caught up.
No, I think I need to drop it just a
Yeah, I
touch.
think so. Try and drop it into those engine mounts or like...
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, I guess so. It seemed pretty straightforward, eh? Oh! It's in!
That's all the weight off. Oh, that's great. So, it's in. So far, it's lined up really well. It looks really good in the engine bay. Yeah, we just got to button up that rear. If it all lines up, it goes to plan.
We're getting out of here.
I'm having a rum.
Can you just jack this jack? I can't get enough leverage from down here.
I can jack your jack.
It'll be very awesome if this crossmover lines up.
Well, so far, it's looking absolutely immaculate, so... I call that a success.
I'd say so too. Let's see. Alright guys, that's the end of the episode. We really hope you enjoyed. Got heaps of progress done on this thing and it's actually really exciting to watch it all come together. In the next episode, we're going to be pulling the engine back out, doing a heap of maintenance to it, and then from there it'll just be buttoning it up, intercooler, radiator, transcooler, all that stuff, and getting it ready.
To get thrown in the deep end, Matt has thrown me in the deep end. I've always wanted to learn and do this sort of stuff, but never really had the chance. Motor's in, tacked, in the right place we think. We're going to verify.
Keyword.
Yeah, this is all going to get verified. Billy and Ash and other guys helping us out are going to help us make sure we've done our job correctly. Once that's all done, it's off to the auto sparky to get finished wiring up because, again, we ain't touching the wires. We've gone out of our depth with this. Let's just keep the wiring to the professionals.
So make sure you stay up to date with us on all of our social media and also our website. We've got some new merch coming soon. We've also got some accessories. Other than that, catch you in the next episode.
Cheers.